favor. This is one more, please.
You tell me whenever we're ready.
Okay, let's start. So, the new kit was released. Just God damn. We're gonna talk about it first. I mean, we're gonna talk more about it right now. But welcome to Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
Oh, we started.
Yes, we did.
Like I told you, we are super laid back the way we start.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Okay, yeah, I knew that.
How's everybody doing?
Man, I am doing great. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Living my best life.
Hey, I feel good. I just got back from Vallarta, straight into the work week. So may look a little bit more tan, a little bit more relaxed, but I'm happy to be back on the mic.
You look great. I just got back from Cancun and I went to Islas Mujeres and
Oof.
I went to 7 cities in 8 days. Every day I would wake up like at 5 in the morning just to make sure that I didn't miss my flight. My cousin, we did like a little road trip with her. She lives in Mexico City, but I met her in Mérida day 3, 4 of me being in Mexico, and then we just did like a whole road trip to Rio Lagartos, and then we went to Las Coloradas. I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of the flamingos, and they're in like very, very pink waters.
I think I've seen that photo.
So that I didn't know that was in Mexico. I was like, oh,
Really?
I thought that was in Europe or Australia or something.
Hey, man. That's
I
this
was
is in
like,
Mexico.
I love this.
There's an article where it shows pictures of like the wonders of Mexico and then compare them to any other places. And I mean, no le piden nada a nadie.
Right.
Like it's so diverse in every aspect that, you know, if the economy was better, I'm pretty sure we wouldn't have to be in the situation where we have to move here and whatnot.
For sure. Yeah. So I went there and then we woke up, we stayed in a very small town. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of scared for myself because I look like a tourist and I was like, my people are scary and they may want to rob me sometimes. Not that every Mexican is scary, but I'm a woman, 3 girls. Very, very, we were in just like un pueblito, like a very small town where there's no hot water because it's hot there. There's no AC, stuff like that. Anyways, we stayed at this Airbnb. The following day, we went to Cancun, and then our car broke down. And it was a whole situation, pero bueno. Very interesting. A lot of the cars in Mexico also are from like China, and I've never seen these types of cars and models that they have over there.
Yeah.
So I was super like culture shocked, and I'm Mexican. I was like, wow, I really haven't been to Mexico and stayed there and experienced culture besides my usual spots. But Cancun, beautiful, recommend, safe, nothing happened. So yeah, and then now I'm back. So thank you for inviting me.
Hey, appreciate you coming, Michelle. And Coque, man, you were in Vallarta for your birthday.
Yeah, dude. So went on a friend's trip.
Big 40?
Big 40? Getting there. I'm a lot closer there than 20, that's for sure.
Yeah, los 20s are like, you can't even look back because you don't see them anymore.
Nah, dude. Nah, I'm looking forward. But man, looking at this trip, you know my luck. You know what happens when I travel. So there's always a story. And, and this one had a particular Coca story to it. So we're on our way.
Yeah.
We're checking into our flight from Austin to Vallarta. It's a straight way.
Good.
And I present my passport. I'm walking through the sky bridge into the airplane. I get into the airplane, it's fine. We land in Mexico, everything's fine. As I'm walking out of the airplane, I get stopped.
Ah, cabrón.
And they're like, Mr. Martinez? I'm like, oh shit, how do you know my name? Yeah, you left your passport in Austin. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I checked in with my passport. They're like, yeah, they said they found it over there. They would not let me in Mexico.
God damn.
So all my 8 other friends, including my wife, stayed in Puerto Vallarta. And my wife wanted to come with me. And I told her, like, there's no point because it's going to make it way more complicated trying to get back. And plus, she had planned this entire trip for me. So I was like, she was like in tears, and I felt more her pain than my actual inconvenience, I promise. And I ended up going back to Austin, retrieving my passport, getting a same-day flight. This is the best deal I could find.
How much?
To Guadalajara. Taking a bus at midnight from Guadalajara to Vallarta. I got to Vallarta at 5:30 a.m. Saturday, and I was supposed to be there Friday at 1. So I missed the first half of the day.
Wow.
It's not a big deal, but man, dude, it was just, of course, I was the butt of all jokes. I'll take it on the chin. But man, what an adventure. That's a straight up coke adventure. I met so many friends on the way there. How much? You said it was about $400 airfare. Not bad for same day, if you ask me. And like a $30 bus ride. But bro, what?
Wait, you couldn't use your ID?
Nope. You got to use your passport to go
into Mexico.
Mexico.
I know they got pretty strict on you got to have a passport.
They did, because it wasn't like
they
that
wouldn't even take a
before.
photo of my passport.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
It needed to be the passport.
Wow. Now you know.
Anyway.
But yeah, dude, apart from that, the trip was amazing. Had great food, great tequila, great drinks. A lot of, I would wake up every morning, see the sunrise. I'm a big fan of the sun. It's like my favorite thing to do. Sunrise, sunset. We
How
did
romantic.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, the Airbnb was amazing, bro. It had like, we stayed in like the terrace level. So like it had a view to the ocean. So I had my little cafecito out there, have a little wine glasses out there. And of course I was with great company, Chaparro and his girl Hannah was with us, and Ernie, Tanya, like great fans of the pod, great friends, near and dear to my heart. There to celebrate my birthday, Chaparro's birthday, and another friend's birthday who met us there too. So it was like just a big celebration of February birthdays, but everyone made a trip out of it. And it was, my favorite part was dancing at this one little, this club called La Bodeguita. La Bodeguita
En el Malecón.
En el Malecón. So this is a little...
Mira, la Michelle sabe.
This is a little Cuban bar, and they had live music. So
Love it.
pura rolas en salsa, cumbias, man, bachata. They were playing their asses off, and we danced. You need to ask Chaparro about his dance story, dude, because ese Chaparro, some tias were there on the girls' night out. Like I want to say, I don't know, just ballpark 50s, 40s.
Yeah.
And Chaparro was like, I bet y'all dance with one of the tias. All right, dale, güey. And they did not let him out until he danced with every single tia.
And then knowing him, he's the nicest guy ever would actually do it.
He obliged. You got a shout out from the band. So shout out to Chaparro. Had a badass birthday with him. And he was like the star of the night. Even got a shout out from the band. So that shit was awesome.
But you know what you did miss? You missed one of these Mexican loggers from Hop Squad.
Hey.
Zapatista.
To enjoy your trip or the struggles in your trip.
I did, yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out to
Hop Squad.
It's a beautiful beer.
This episode, the drinks are sponsored by them. So
Sponsor.
thank you, Hop Squad, and your team.
Congrats, guys.
That's where I take I take Mochi every Friday. That's Mochi's like place where he wants to go.
Oh wow, it's the dog's favorite place. Not yours, but the dog's.
Both of us. Both of us.
Well, did y'all want to get started on the Julian Araujo Barcelona signing?
Ooh, yes.
I'll bring it up.
Let's
Richie,
get
thoughts?
into it.
So I think it's a good thing we finally have another Mexican in. I mean, he was born here, but we finally have another Mexican in Barcelona. Is he going to be on the first team or is he going to be on the Barcelona B?
Creo que va a estar en Barcelona B because he can't actually play with them till December.
Okay. Because that, I mean...
From my understanding, according from Fabrizio Romano, that's the thing.
El compadre, sí, todos le debemos algo al compadre Fabricio. Pero I think it's a good thing.
He's my follower. He follows me on Twitter.
Shit. Hey, nice.
Good for Araujo, man. What a time to be alive, to see another Mexican go into Barcelona's establishment. Rich history, large steps to follow from Rafa Marquez, Giovanni Dos Santos, Jonathan Dos Santos, and it had been too long since seeing a move like that happen in a while. So I'm happy for the young guy. How old is he? It's like
26, no?
He's like 25, 26.
Okay, so he's still at a pretty good age to develop and to hone his craft and like get that exposure to that competitive level of soccer that is maybe he wasn't getting here at the MLS stage.
I mean, it's coming from the MLS. How long did it take him to scout him? What was something they saw in him that Javi was like, what? He's he seems like he can fit in our system. It's a good thing, and I think the signing was.
Oh my God, he's 21.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, there I
thought era más jovencito. Thank you for fact checking.
There you go.
Hop squad. Wow. I thought he was 25. Oh my God, he's only 21. This is perfect. And you said Rafa Marquez. He's there. Actually.
He's at Barcelona.
Yeah, so I assume he's gonna be, there, and that's why the move also happened. I assume he was also, pushing for him in a sense. And
what a great thing to have such legendary figures like Rafa in his position in Barcelona, helping in some capacity or another Mexican triumph or, make their story in Barcelona. And that's something that we're going to get into a little bit later in the pod.
I was about to say, it's going to be compared to a story that we have.
Older generations, people that have succeeded in their respective fields, lending a hand or trying to help the newer generation. So we'll touch on that a little bit later.
For sure. And then the Euro was today, 2-2. Man U and Barcelona.
Yeah. That was the Ramiro called it the Coque Studio Derby.
The Coque Studio Derby.
Reason being, Man U and Barcelona are my favorite teams like in the world, and apart from
next to America.
Not so much America. And Guadalajara for sure, but like seeing Man U and Barcelona play, especially the way they played today, was like a trip down memory lane. Like, because the way that the intensity of the game, the quality, the two teams just willing to go forward, it just made my heart happy, dude. I felt like seeing like my two, best friends or family members just like succeeding in their own way, So I didn't really have like a favorite, but in my heart, I was just like,
or it could be like los dos primos que te caen bien, que están peleando.
Yeah, you're like, no importa que se den chingazos, and I'm over here having a good time.
For sure.
Dude, that's good. Did you guys watch the game?
I didn't watch it actually.
Because you're a Real Madrid fan.
But even then, I kind of stopped following La Liga a little bit. I mean, just in those clubs. But yeah, I mean, I was excited for Manchester United when Cristiano was there. I know everyone's gonna hate me.
El bicho. El bicho.
But no, I didn't watch it. But I did watch Chelsea's game yesterday, and that was
at Dortmund.
Yeah, Dortmund.
Man,
that Dortmund tifo was amazing.
That tifo, man.
The game was great.
Yeah,
but they just couldn't come back after the 1-0.
Chelsea has spent an incredible amount of money, and they have not had any good results lately.
And rightfully so. I mean, I understand the people that criticize, even me, myself, being a Chelsea fan, I criticize. I'm like, okay.
Oh, you're also a Chelsea fan.
I'm a Chelsea fan.
You know what? Shit. I do remember that because you have a picture with, is it Ashley Cole?
I do.
Yeah, there we go.
And
on
that's
Instagram.
my guy right there.
Damn.
I've been at places, okay?
Se conoce al Araujo, al Ashley Cole.
Fabrizio,
a Coque, a Fabricio, a Richie. Yeah.
Damn,
Driussi could be my friend. Wolf too. I have a story. During the press conference, this was after.
Órale.
But I'll share that in a little bit. I'm very likable, guys.
You are indeed, and that's why you're here with us. Pretty often, recurring. But I think Barcelona for me is they I noticed something different this season, and they're a little more physical. Like they still do the the sistema tiki-taka, but they understood that you have to have a lot more deportistas, a lot more athletes in your team than actual players, because the other teams are becoming a little more athletic. So you need to keep up with that. So you're seeing some of the guys actually look, their body looks different just because of the training they're doing to keep up with the competition. Mm-hmm. And the way I look at it for me is, if they lose to Man U, like they have to for sure secure the Liga. It's going to be another setback to the progress that they have.
Yeah, I think looking at that game, I would say Barcelona probably needs to pass more than Man U. Man U's, fighting a title race of their own, but Barcelona with all their problems when it comes to their debt and their financial issues, like they need any type of victory, whether some type of hardware, some type of advancement in their results. And this is like one that I feel like they need it more than Man U.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, they're two historic clubs. And one thing that they kept mentioning in the match was how Man U has never beat Barcelona at home at Camp Nou. So when they were winning 2-0, they looked pretty dominant, or I think it was 2-1. Yeah. They looked pretty dominant, and it was their game to take. They missed a lot of good chances. Rashford missed a few. Sancho missed a sitter. But you can kind of tell like the history started weighing down. Like the Camp Nou Stadium, just something about it. It's just like
in Europa, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. It happens, man. De Gea was amazing. He stopped a lot of goals. Honestly, I think there was like 15 shots either way. Like you can make highlights.
I mean,
wow,
like a 30-minute highlight reel.
2-2, it tells a story.
It definitely felt like a Champions League match. It was like a Champions League match in Europa League. But I mean,
they said, you know what, we need some more. Like
they were balling out, dude. They were balling out. I loved it. I love the feistiness of it all. I loved seeing Casemiro and Varane play against their former rivals. You know what I mean? Ex Madrid players. Even the young guys, Gavi,
Pedri got hurt.
Pedri got hurt. He didn't play towards the end, but like even seeing the young guys, they really got physical, like you were saying, which is something that I think has been missing from Barcelona for a while.
And switching to La Liga, Barca's first place. I mean, their form is actually the last 5 games they won in a row, I believe. They have to secure La Liga in order to continue and to like ratify what Xavi's doing Xavi, is doing, because if they don't win it, oh man, just all that money they spend, shit. ¿Qué piensas?
Pues sí, not as bad as Chelsea. But.
Not as bad as Chelsea?
That's what I would say.
Yeah. And on the EPL, my Liverpool finally won. FYI.
Congrats.
Battle of the Mid.
Congrats.
You beat Everton, bro. What's the big deal?
Are they good?
Hey, you know what? Beginner's luck, okay? Well, I don't know if you got to check out the previous episode, but I had made my only New Year's resolution, besides getting a dog, was to pick an EPL team. But I've been following the team for a while, but I never really made it official.
Good for you.
And that's when I was like, you never walk alone.
Oh, nice.
Now he's made best friends with Joe Gomez, or AKA Lord Farquaad.
Lord Farquaad.
He's going to watch games with him, a fellow Liverpool fan.
I was going to say, there's that bar. What is it called?
Riley? BD Riley?
Yeah, BD Riley.
Yeah,
with Steve, and they're really nice.
Ahí lo va a caer.
Yeah, they're really, really great.
A las 7 de la mañana un sábado, después de Hotel Vegas.
Wow, that's a long night.
And I also, as you guys, we're out and about. I got to also, go to the release kit for the new kit that Austin SC released. First of all, what do you guys think?
Well, I'm glad that it got leaked, and this is why. Because spending almost $200 on a kit that people initially didn't like, because now I feel like the language has changed. I think it was the best thing that could have happened for the club, that it got leaked prior to that. Because if you were to pre-order, gone to the party, and we're like, what is this? Like, some people liked it initially, and other people's, from what I've seen on Twitter today, they're like, oh, it's growing on me. And it is. I never thought it was ugly. I just always thought, when I first saw it, I was like, I mean, it's fine. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
In fashion, they always say stripes, stay away from stripes or whatever, or any crazy patterns. But I mean, it wasn't
artistic.
bad. Yeah.
In art, rules are meant to be broken.
Right.
So, and
that's the creative thing
that's
about.
That's another thing too. Like a lot of great art pieces or things that are artistic, at a first take, you're not gonna like it. You're not gonna appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not till you hear that record again over and over, or you see that movie again, or Austin FC starts getting results like they did last season, that you're gonna start loving that kid.
So I was one of the ones that I was gonna I'm gonna wait till the replica comes out. It's cheaper. Pero ya con esas ahí. So I bought it. I didn't bring it because
You should have worn it.
5 minutes after I played pickup with it at a native hostel, because it had like unas retas ahí. So I was like, change my shirt, put the shirt on, and it was like so sweaty, and it was already kind of late when I got home, so I didn't have time to wash it. But it looks good. It looks good. And the reason why I say it looks good, not because I want to be a yes ma'am, no ma'am.
Right.
Whenever you mix designs, but with a nice pair of black jeans.
Are you talking about the way they looked yesterday on the Austin FC? I mean, they look great on.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they paired him, yeah.
So
I think that's what you're gonna say.
Yeah, like going with that is like when you can mix art with style, you can make it happen.
Right.
So that's for me. I mean, I'm always wearing black pants, so this is like, it fits perfect to what I wear. I'm not afraid of it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not ugly. I mean, I don't know.
I can show a picture.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I mean, with it on, them playing, being, active.
I'll tell you one thing I like about it is that you kind of have to look. It makes you want to look around it.
Yeah,
it's kind of a dynamic thing, so you kind of want to, I don't know, look at it from different angles, because it's not something that's very straightforward.
Yeah,
it's not a traditional pattern, a traditional jersey. So, I mean, I'm kind of digging it, but I like weird shit, so don't listen to me.
When it comes to like certain things like that, like my shoes are a little more weird now than like a year ago. So.
¿Y tus calzones?
No, they're all black.
Oh.
Straightforward. Straightforward.
No creativity there. I did like, I think my favorite one, I'm not going to lie, I'm a very red and gold type of girl too. I never thought I looked that great in green. But I like Atlanta's OG style. I know Sporting Kansas tried to do that today with their release, and it just looks like blah. But for some reason, Atlanta, and I just think it's because of the pairing, the red, gold, and black. I think that looks really nice too. I think that could have been my probably favorite. And that's me playing it safe. Even Seattle's though, it looks really cool. I
haven't seen the other MLS team kits, but I'll have to check it out. But on the subject of kits, man, like I still revert back to the Veneziafc kit dropped last season, and to me that was like one of the sexiest kits.
Venezia?
Yeah, dude, check it out. So it's like they have like models like just put it on, and man, it's just like Italian design at its finest.
That is beautiful.
Dude.
That is nice.
It's really good stuff. And I mean, the city of Venice is like full of art too, but I mean, that's cool. Like I like seeing teams step out of the box
sometimes
and do something different, because we get the traditional stuff over and over. It gets a little stale.
I agree.
I was gonna say, I mean, I know you haven't seen other MLS clubs, but I mean, Houston looks the same to me.
Yeah, Houston. The only thing Houston did, which they don't do anything right, is have a picture of Hector Herrera in front of the El Ángel Independencia. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one right there. And I was like, pure, what is it called? Appropriation.
Culture appropriation.
Culture appropriation. That's what I would say. Like,
she's claiming.
Like why would you put a picture of Hector Herrera in Mexico City with a Dynamo jersey?
Right, he should have gone.
He should have gone to downtown Mexico. Not Mexico, downtown Houston. There's plenty of beautiful places in Houston to take a picture. But doing that is kind of like, I don't know.
Cliche.
But
this is I thought Dallas was very interesting too. So honestly,
that's cringe.
If it were obviously the battle of the Texas kit jerseys,
we won.
I mean, Austin,
we won. We won. Like it's like Copa Texas. We're gonna take it again.
Too bad jerseys don't score goals, so we gotta win.
Hey,
the other way.
We got Yossi Sardes.
I was gonna say,
hey, there we go.
I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see him and Driussi. And
speaking of Driussi, he's the boy got a secured bag and he's staying.
Yeah.
Secure the bag.
They Anthony Precourt definitely secured the bag. During the press conference, as I was telling you, Richie, Josh Wolf said that he thanked the ownership for working on a contract during off season. I think that was their main goal, and especially after reports came out that other clubs wanted him.
English Premier knocking on the door of the Driussi.
Right, and that's what Driussi said himself. He's like, there was a really big club that was after me from,
And the
Inglaterra.
club was Chelsea.
Yeah, speculate. Probably Chelsea, huh? I thought about that too with Todd Bowley, their American owner. Probably looking back home, seeing what's
Chelsea.
spicy.
I don't know.
Well, even River, some of the players, I mean, not the players, but, they were like, man, sad because he ended up going back to River.
I asked him about that too, but I didn't mention River. I don't like to put that on him, because I know he told me, he's like, oh yeah, he's like, they remind me every day that they want me back, but my head, no doubt, has always been in Austin. And that's kind of what I said in the beginning of all these rumors. I was like, everyone needs to chill.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going anywhere. He really genuinely loves Austin. And I understand soccer works in its ways, but I just, from that first moment that I met him and I spoke to him the first time, he's here to win titles. He's not, he wants to, I don't want to say reinvent himself, but he wants to leave his mark here in the United States, because he actually does believe in the U.S. and the soccer growth that's happening in this country.
He's bought in.
Yeah, I think the way I see it, and that goes along with, like, because of maybe he notices what Wolf is trying to do. One is like, Wolf is, we have to secure him, because I feel like he's part of, an important role in the team, and you don't have to worry about maybe another team buying him out. Now, if you're gonna buy him, you have to pay a good amount of money for him, and also just thinking of, like how he was said, thinking of the process, thinking of the progress, and what we talked about in the past. That's something that he emphasizes a lot, and for him, having Driussi in it helps in his progress.
For sure.
Now, I also think Diego should get his bag too.
Right.
Because just as you're doing it for someone who's important for the club, in the caliber of Driussi, you also should do it for a player that gives so much in every aspect to the club. And I'm not like, I mean, Diego's, like one of my favorite players in the team, but also just because if you take, like, you don't secure Diego or you don't treat him right, it's just not gonna work out. Eventually, things can just start like, whatever.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree, Richie. Like, Diego Fagundes is one of those pivotal pieces to the team that I think has a lot to give, and maybe, it's a little bit more on the intangibles, like, what he gives in terms of sacrifice on the field. And I don't know, man. At the end of the day, football is a business, dude. So as much as we love Diego, the club has their goals in mind and their business in mind, and sometimes us as fans, like, I don't understand some of the decisions they make or why they make them. So I would say, I'd love Diego to get a bag and this and that too, but it's tough to understand the intricacies of, like, the business decisions that are made in Austin FC.
Yeah, I think that Diego stays this season, obviously, but I think he leaves. I think he leaves. Yeah,
I think that's
because I don't think they're gonna pay him what he wants. He's been asking. There's rumors that he's been asking to get paid. Since last season, he wanted a pay bump. I mean, he's so talented that Cruz Azul from Liga MX wanted him, because he's a great talent. But I just think that I don't want to say he was treated bad, but I remember when Wolf wouldn't start him in a game in the beginning of, and he basically carried the team. I don't want to say that Wolf doesn't respect what he brings, but I just believe that the style or what he wants to do on the field, he thinks that another player can bring that, and so he's not as essential as Driussi.
He doesn't value him as much.
That's a good
as
point.
Driussi, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
and he I mean, this is Wolf loves Driussi. Like that's his buddy.
Oh yeah.
Like they're just like, you know.
I told that was like if Diego ever goes to America. I usually don't like exclusives and no me gusta el chisme así de contratos y todo, but I want to be the first one to know. I want the exclusiva.
Well,
he's going to Cruz Azul, man. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't know for now. But
I'm gonna block him. He's not gonna be my BFF anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we wish him well, but I don't know. He loves Austin too, so it would be a huge bummer if he were to leave. I'm not saying he's leaving, but
I mean, if he ever to leave, like that would be something that it'll be a hard hit unless he has a bad season. Yeah, but he's gonna have
to for sure. Because I mean, and like I think I was asking Jorge, I was like, so who actually asked for it? Because as a corporate America, you ask for a bonus, or I'm like, so do players do that, or how does that, or is it agents that kind of talk on your behalf? But Jorge said no, so I don't know how that works.
Jorge, well, you were, changing the subject. You were at Jorge's episode, like
in Espanol.
In Espanol. It was a pretty good one.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, they talk a lot.
Yeah,
they do.
I was like basically trying to raise my hand.
You were like in a Zoom call when you keep raising like your hand. That was Michelle.
I was like, and they were just, can I talk? Can I say something?
But
Romagna's leaving, and I guess I was wrong there. Romagna's leaving. It seems like, but well.
Best of luck to him.
I know.
I think it was the best move for us.
Yeah.
Also, to me, he was kind of dead weight. I mean, I'm sorry to say, but like,
well, once Jorge asked him that question, it was basically saying like, hey, like we don't have any plans for him here. Like it's better for him to just go.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which at that point it's kind of like, yeah, you're already out basically, bro. But it's funny because every player that leaves, like from that Cerati or the agent, they end up linked to Olimpia.
Yeah. Como que trabajan juntos, ¿no?
Yeah, like I mean. Cecilio Dominguez was linked to them.
Right.
Rodney Redes is always linked to them, or rumors. And Romagna is close to, finalizing that one. But he's a good guy, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah. That sucks. I do have a little story. So after the press conference, Josh Wolf and Sebastian were leaving or walking down the little, the little pedestal thing. And I was like, I wanted to ask him off camera. I was like, because he's been telling me, and I've been nagging at him, like, when are you going to give Spanish interviews, Josh Wolf? And I was like, so coach, I was like, when are you going to give Spanish interviews? I was like, you promised in the off season you were going to practice. He's like, mi español no es tan bueno. And then Sebastian Driussi, because Sebas, Driussi, whatever. He butts in and he's like, no, his Spanish is really good. And then they started clowning at each other and actually heard for the first time Driussi talking English, and his English is very well. So I hope both of them.
Dijo infrastructure.
No, he was just he's I don't know what he said, but it was really like the reason I say they have such a great relationship is because they were like, just joshing with each other, just like talking, picking on each other in a way.
Yeah.
But they're so nice. Like, I don't know. I was just thought that was a cute little moment to witness, and Jorge was there too, and we were just like talking about that. But yeah, hopefully one day Josh Wolf gives a Spanish interview.
That'll be nice.
That'd be good to see.
I have to be in that one. Just ask him a question.
Habla poquito español. Como dice.
I mean, yeah. I think. Just from what I've seen, that like 2 years in the club. I don't know him personally, but you can see he's a good man. Like he's he has this character where he's not no es mamón.
Right.
I mean, of course, when you have a bad day, you're gonna be I don't want to touch
anything. He's a human being at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, pero he's also
for the most part he's professional.
Professional. And one thing that I notice is like when it comes to work, es como que estamos chambeando, compadres, y hay que chambear.
Right. Yeah.
Like whenever they were talking about like say, he was saying, like whenever people come to like the training facilities, they have to be dressed a certain way. Like because it's a place of work at the end of the day. You know, we're not just basically shooting the shit. Like we're actually working. And every I mean, you can see it with Owen, you know, referring to him as father, like in an interview. That shows how much of, you know, like thorough he is with his career, and also like how he carries himself. And that talks a lot, because whenever you, for example, the first season things didn't go well, and now we're going to another season, tiene más confianza porque sabe que las cosas pueden resultar si le echa ganas y cree en su proceso.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree 100%. He's very serious for sure.
Yeah.
Like when he's mad, or, you know, serious, trying to have a serious. But I always try to break the ice. Even like when they lost in Nashville 3-0, I was like, hey, coach, I was like, take care of that, you know, that cough of yours, or it's like, it seems like you may getting sick.
Ponte Vicks.
Póngase Vicks.
He's like, thanks, Michelle. That's like actually the nicest thing. Because at the end of the day, I understand these are humans. And so I try, obviously prior to that, I asked him, I was like, the defense was horrible during that game. And he obviously answered that, but I ended it with like a little nice, like,
that's good.
You know.
Y Michelle dijo, mire, saca la bolsita, le pone la botellita, 2 copitas. Platíqueme, ¿cómo andamos, compadre?
No. También professional.
Yeah.
But
no, that's good. That's good. Speaking of professional, and speaking of I would say, like, you know, going back to how we started and
hold on, I need another beer.
Another beer from where?
Hop Squad.
Hop Squad, baby, let's go.
Does anyone care for another one?
¿Sabes qué?
I'm good.
Me la acabo esta y pasamos a otra más.
Great. But you were saying? Sorry.
So, you were talking earlier how in the Hispanic community, you know, luego cuando lo hace uno, we tend to forget about helping the other person that's next to us, especialmente la raza. And in the Hispanic culture, or in Mexican, there's a Mexican saying that un mexicano no apoya a otro mexicano. El enemigo del mexicano es el otro mexicano. And that is actually true. So I'm just gonna give a little bit of, you know, what we're gonna talk about. But basically, as you guys have seen, George Lopez, he has a podcast. It's the Hi, Oh My God, and in episode 97, invited one of his friends, Steve Trevino, and they started talking. So the episode started like pretty fiery because they worked for so long together. They were like, it's comfortable, but it was like pretty much like snubbing people back in, like, you know, from back in the days, like Paul Rodriguez, and because apparently George is like, I mean, I don't mind talking about it. We can talk about it, but it's basically how everybody says George doesn't support the young comedians or doesn't support anyone.
Right.
He's always working for himself. And he was just saying why, you know, why I do it that way, because basically I was the one that did everything by myself.
He has a chip on his shoulder.
He has a chip on his shoulder now. And
the comedian in question in this podcast was Ralph Barbosa, up and coming young, I want to say Mexican American comedian.
Yeah. From Dallas.
From Dallas. Yeah. Okay, I wasn't sure. I knew he was from Texas, but yeah, they were basically asking him like, what do you think about him, right? And he pretty much said, who is this guy? Who is Ralph? Never heard of him.
Como dice, lo ninguneó.
Yeah. He was like, who the fuck is this guy? Why should I care?
Right.
Yeah.
And like one thing is the different, like, say there's a different way when you ask, hey, who's this guy? Like, you really want to, like, hey, who is him? Like, I want to know more about him.
Right.
Tell me more. Yeah. Like, I haven't heard stuff.
But in this case, who is this guy? Hey, you know that guy? You know that guy?
Yeah, he kind of made a whole scene of not knowing him, and that's what added to the whole snub.
Yeah.
And when, you know, Steve Trevino kind of pushed him on it, or like, you know, made him talk about it, he just kind of dug himself deeper into the hole of like, this is my stance. I know I'm
and
right.
Steve was trying to like take him out of the hole. Yeah, he was trying to like, but you know, we should help him out. He's like, I don't need to help him out. But basically like, cabrón, you know, you're literally in the microphone talking about it. George is known for fighting with a lot of comedians. Like he has problems with Gabriel Iglesias.
I was going to say the fluffy guy.
El fluffy guy, and with I forgot, Carlos Mancia. He has problems with him. But what we're trying to get to is, when we look into like this type of situations, and I don't know if it's maybe a generational thing. I don't know, like if it's something that we grew up, say, in Mexico, el Televisa contra TV Azteca. You know, whenever, you know, it's very like cutthroat, like especially in an environment where it's established, or like in places like, I don't know much about like how we used to work here until I started growing up. But with us Hispanics, we, like our generation now, I believe that we're somehow exposed to new things. We're exposed to new environments that we don't know how to navigate, maybe similar to what George Lopez had, but we don't know how to react. What do you think when it comes stuff to like a Hispanic, in quotations, making it? Should they be looking to paving the way for the upcoming person, or should they just be focusing on their own career?
Oh man, I can just speak from my own personal background, man. I grew up the oldest in my family, so I have siblings, and I kind of younger siblings. So I've always taken that philosophy to everybody else. Like anytime I see a younger Latino or Latina, I see basically my brother and sister in them. So I try to help them in whatever way I can through knowledge, experience, or just like simply answering questions about what I do or what's the type of challenges that I face. But like, I think that this shouldn't even be a question. It shouldn't be something we talked about. And it's kind of a shame. I'm a little bit ashamed of it to speak of it, but you have to acknowledge the ugly truth. And that's what you see. And especially in a lot of people that are established, like they're comfortable in their position, they all of a sudden forget about all the challenges that they face and what it was like. And they're not willing to lend a helping hand. Yeah. And it's crazy to me because you look at, I mean, I'm not going to generalize and say, other demographics and other, cultures, and they're very community oriented. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what our communities used to be in like the past, but we got sucked into this mindset of like, of competitiveness, of like just, I guess, Western civilization where you have to compete and be independent and an individualist. And we started to stray away from that collective body of people. Like, it's not just you, it's not just your family, it's your community. So that's what you see in George Lopez. I'll be honest with you, I never thought he was really that funny. I mean, he had a great show. It was very successful.
I loved his show.
Yeah. His show was successful, but I didn't think he was a really funny comedian.
Yeah.
But to hear him, obviously he's had a level of success, and to hear him kind of shit on the up and coming on a show, like you can tell, like it's a type of show like this where you can tell your truth. So that's who he is. What you saw on there is who I think George Lopez is. So that's kind of a low light of what our community can be, and I will always want to stand against that.
Touche.
I would say it's showbiz, baby.
Showbiz. Oh, well, you know what? Coming from someone who's worked in like in the media,
it's
and
very
also
toxic.
And also like you're the first one in your generation to be in positions where
I'm a Latina who. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say I've paved the way. A lot of people outside of Austin don't know who I am, and I'm telling you this because I've talked to. I'm no longer working with Telemundo, but I've talked to other clubs outside of Austin. They have no clue who I am, and I'm like, oh, I've done good for myself, and in my opinion, right, in my eyes. But I think it's a cultural thing, but I also think that it is showbiz and how it functions. Like, unfortunately, I've experienced, and this is only obviously my experience, a lot of, it's so competitive, and you always want to be number one, and you always want to be right on what you're doing. And it's and other women or men may get threatened by how much you're bringing to the table. In my experience, not just Mexicans, but Latinos in general are the last ones to help you, give you career advice, who will vouch for you. Honestly, it's been Americans that have kind of opened the door for me. Even here at Telemundo, it was Judy Maggio, a white woman. I was waitressing and she was like, let me introduce to you the news director. The news director was a white guy. And they were super reluctant after about a year of hiring me. The person in charge is from Chile, and he didn't think my Spanish was that great. He didn't think I was cut up for the job, but they had no other option but to hire me because no one wanted to take that job. Yeah. And then they had an experienced girl trying to figure out her way in the industry because no one wants to give you that foot in the door. Or it's very challenging over here learning things for free. In a sense, I was doing it, but my boss during that time, he was like, anything that you do it after the show, and I'm only paying you for, till 11. So make sure if whatever you're learning, you do it till 11. Don't do extra time because you need to get paid for what you're supposed to do. But he was so supportive. And I just think that, people have a chip in their shoulders because they haven't been helped in this industry. And I can easily say, I don't need to help you because I haven't been helped along the way, but because I was shown that grace, I'm not like that. And I've never been like that. I've been so welcoming and more than happy to teach people about, how to produce a show. I trained like 2 or 3 girls at Telemundo, and that's how they got there in. And I know it's tough, but I always think about giving forward and giving my skills to, it's not a lot. I'm not, a mega star, but, giving back to people who want to get there. That's just always been my philosophy. But yes, I found that a lot of people don't want, if they didn't have it easy, then why should you have it easy,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that's kind of the culture in a lot of industries. Like you say, it's showbiz. Yeah. Or it's, the building industry, the construction engineering industry, doctor industry, whatever it can be, right? A lot of those older generation mindsets. I think it's a generational divide, like you were saying, Richie. But here's the challenge. Here's where I want to talk to you guys. Like, if you don't agree with the culture, then why do we have to buy into it? Right. So, just because it's always been that way doesn't mean that we have to abide by it. And I think even though it's harder to put in that extra work to help others, I think it's going to be well worth it in the long run. Like, it feels great helping, man. Like, some of the best feelings I have in what I do in the building industry is when I have the chance to help others. Right.
I feel that comes at a price though. And I'm just talking about my experience. Like, there was once that I helped this individual and everything that I taught the person, all my connections, they basically turned around and just like ran off with that.
No, yeah.
And
there's risk.
And I'm
there's
like,
risk
oh,
involved.
I'm such a, I'm not saying I'm a pushover, but I was ignorant to a sense. And people were like, why do you, ¿por qué le compartiste eso? Like, why did you do that?
That's
and I was like, I was trying to be nice.
Yeah,
like,
nah, I can see it.
So it's everyone's character.
Yeah, I think one thing that for me, when I think of helping someone out, I always think of, I don't like to, if someone needs, for example, money, I'm not going to give you money, but I'm going to help you get a job. Like, that's how I am. Because for me is, I'm going to help you network. I'm going to connect you with this person that can help you get in the industry you want to get into. Sure. Because I feel like that would bring more value than giving them money, than giving it to them for free. Yeah. Because I'm going to tell I always tell people, and it has happened with me in the past where whenever DACA started, I helped about 30 people get their DACA because I worked in a law firm before that. So I got to learn the process. But I always told everyone, like, hey, I'm going to help you do it. But after this, like, I'm going to charge you. Like, I mean, I'm not an attorney, but hey, I'm spending money. Right. I'm spending time to get you your paperwork. or help you get your paperwork. And some other people were actually like, no, we'll pay you right now or whatever. I didn't want to get paid, but I mean, they threw some money. And in that time, I was also like in between jobs. So it was like about 3-month process. But there was other people the people that were actually like, te tenían todo ahí and everything was set and good to go. They were the ones that like,
paid you.
I appreciate it and paid you. Pero los que no querían pagarte, or you know, they were calling you constantly, hey, ya hiciste esto, ya hiciste otro, ya hiciste aquello. And I'm like, abuse. It's one of those that like, nah. So for me, I told them, and basically like, look, I'm not making money. Like, you know, you can give me, you know, throw in a bone here and there. And I'm not begging for it, but more so like, you know, you're going to be able to get a better thing after this. They got approved. Some came back and, you know, gave me a gift card or whatever, but the ones that, you know, that querían más son los que hicieron menos por uno. And you kind of learn to like in Spanish is discernir. You kind of learn to
just read people a little bit better. Their intentions and kind of their character. And
their character. In Galveston, I was known for helping people get jobs, but I always told them, look, my name is on the line in here. Hey, like if you fuck up, like don't do it, you know, from my networking thing. Like you're, I guess as I'm putting your name out there, telling them like you're qualified for this, don't fuck it up, basically.
Right.
Like don't make me look bad.
Right.
And that's my thing. Like I'm always the type of person, like I'm always like, help me help you.
Right.
Help me help you, help me, you know, get, you know, like say, I know you can do it, pero no la cagues tampoco. Mm-hmm. And even here, I've helped some people, you know, get a job or, you know, whatever. But it's always for me at the end of the day is I can help you get it like network, connect. Right. You know, that's where it stops.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because la gente se aprovecha.
That's true, man. That's true. There's always people trying to take advantage out there too. So it's like by helping others, like, essentially it's an act of love, right? You know, it's a different type of love, a love to your community, a love to your people. But in any love, there's vulnerability. Yeah. And that vulnerability can bite you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Not everyone is going to be the person that you hope they would be, where they would probably even give back themselves. Yeah. Some people are selfish, others are not. I'm actually having coffee with a girl who I tried my hardest to get her foot in the door at Telemundo, but I'm not the hiring manager, and they felt different, and so it just never happened. But she reached out to me. She's like, hey, no, I'm not asking you to help me anymore. She's like, I just want to know how you are. How are you doing?
Yeah. That's great. You formed a real connection.
Right.
That's
awesome.
I
was like, well, that's awesome. I was like, yeah. I mean, I don't care. I'll help her because I'm not doing anything. But sometimes, I do forget to help myself first and then others.
That's the key.
You gotta put the mask.
You have to put it like, on. You know, like, I mean, like before I came, a busy day. I had to get my workout in before I go do other stuff. And luckily, I was able to get my workout in. Now, you think estás más livianado en la mente. You're not stressing over everything because you're already you already got it, whatever you need to get out.
Right.
And, you know, it goes to self-care. Was George Lopez they thought him, you know, like, hey, take care of yourself.
Right.
Like, that's one thing. Like,
that's the one thing that's stuck above everything else.
Like, what would it be like? Say, for example, what like George's response? I think it has more meaning. And I'm not trying to be the devil's advocate here, but I'm more so like, there's something more besides him snubbing Treviño. But Treviño was like the one, I mean, not Treviño, Barbosa. But Barbosa was just the thing that was talked about there. But there's something deeper in there that maybe someone treat him like shit.
Oh, of course. So, as a Latino, as a man in comedy, you know, a dark skin.
Someone fucked up.
I mean, we know Chappelle, very successful. You know, obviously he has his drama now. But back in the day, I mean, like, it was, you know, you had them, and then you had George Lopez, and he represented a whole culture. So I'm sure that had to weigh on him. I'm sure his family, close friends probably told him, man, you know, F this, F that, because, you know, no one helped us out when we needed it. But, you know, so yes, I think there's a lot there, but who knows? I mean, to each their own.
Yeah, and like I said, for me, I I mean, I'm the first one that graduated from college in my family. It's like, how can I, when we talk, how can I be, how can I not be the type of person that oh, I did this, I did that. Like, so every time I think of like my nephews or nieces, I always think of like, how can I help them get there? But at the end of the day, it's going to be their work. Like with my nephew, like that dude, he can play the guitar. He picked it up himself. He saw me play the guitar, but he's like a way better. Oh, you said pause?
No.
Oh, I saw that. Like, sorry if I missed it.
No. I was clapping for you.
That was a two-finger clap.
Okay. Sorry. I thought, cause sometimes we gotta take a pause, but it's one of those that like say, how can you help the person, like especially like my nephew. I tell them, look, here's the information, but at the end of the day, like you gotta do the work.
Right.
And right now, like he's playing soccer and doing the guitar. Like he's doing things that like at a 15, 16, like he's only about to be 15. And that dude like is good in, like ya me pasó en las dos. But it's not a competition, but it's just more like,
right.
You set a foundation, but at the end of the day, the person has to be the one that puts the effort.
Mm-hmm.
And
for sure.
I think, hopefully George could have approached different and be like, hey man, you have to do the work, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, Ralph Barbosa, for the exposure he got by being snubbed, I think was a lot more. So I think in the long run, it's gonna help. It's gonna help Ralph out the most. And he's an up and coming comedian, and I think he was on Jimmy Fallon too. He made his national debut. So
there was actually a podcast he recorded not too long ago. Like I think it was this week, responding to George.
Yeah,
but basically it's more like I don't give a shit.
Perfect. That's like the perfect response.
Yeah. Like, he was like, I mean, he was funny, but not like we're like funny. Like I thought it was like funny, but he was funny. Kind of like what you're saying.
Right.
But it was one of those that I think the dude has talent, potential. Hopefully he learns from this and there's another comedian that comes in the past, like not in the past, but like in the future. He doesn't have that similar response. He can be like, hey, let's go check him out, support him. Because that's one thing, like, say, when it comes to photography, if there's one thing I've been blessed is I've been blessed with people that there's no competition in us, like in our circle of photographers. Right. We all pump each other. We all, like shout out at each other. And one of them was like, say, my boy, Zach Lyons, he did a post on Instagram and he pretty much did a post like about a collage of 4 or 5 photographers, and I was like one of them. And the description is amazing, and it makes you feel good before you go into the season, because it's like I came into this thinking it could be a competition, but it became more like a family, and we supported each other's work and always work together. So looking forward to it, and I'm like, that's the type of shit I want.
Yeah, I was gonna say just to end it. So this is, I don't know if controversial to some, but I did go to a Joe Rogan comedy. My brother bought us tickets.
Nice. And
they were only $30. And the one thing that I noticed, say what however you feel about him, but he brought out 2 people that I had no clue who they were. And then Tony Hinchcliffe, which I don't know, he's kind of like mid-known. I don't really know him. And then obviously Joe Rogan, he was that. But it was, 3 people before him, people who are, I guess, are trying to, get their foot in the door. You see Rogan, so you already know, like, okay, people are going to come. And it wasn't a lot. It was a small venue. I think at the Cave, maybe like, I don't know, 50 people, 75. But just the him moving here, you typically, when you're in that industry, you need to live in LA. Obviously, he had his reasons, but just seeing like that, there was a lot of people that I didn't know, doing stand-up comedy. I think that spoke volumes as to whatever he believes, whatever he says, like, it's a white man helping. I think the first person was Indian, and then it was a black man, and then it was obviously Tony Hinchcliffe, it's white, and then himself, a white man. But it was just like helping others, people who aren't really known.
I think in their cases, like when you see like someone, especially white, like helping others, and they do it out of goodwill, right? but they're also coming from a position of privilege, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
That I think we have to acknowledge. You know, like
Ahí está.
Joe Rogan is in a position of privilege. He has $1 billion
for sure
Spotify contract, so he has a luxury to be able to help out whoever he wants without risking hardly anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So anytime I see these stories about like the Bill Gates and like the you know, all these I forget who just donated Michael, even like people that are like not necessarily white but extremely privileged, like Michael Jordan just donated like $10 million to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Like, oh, good for them. It's Michael Jordan. He sells $10 million like that in
for
shoes.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So
in the day,
I'm glad that those people are helping out, but also
it's the least they can do.
It's the least they can do.
That's the one thing. Like at the end of the day,
I get what you're saying. But even George Lopez himself, I'm sure he would still sell out stuff.
I mean, the way I look at it,
I don't know.
it's like hopefully, like after they hash it out or whatever, you know, he apologized. But man, do a fucking tour.
Yeah.
He's gonna sell out, you know, Barbosa and George Lopez.
That little drama put him on the radar. So
yeah, I mean, more than anything. But no, I think it's a lot of it is just, raza, pónganse las pilas y apóyense.
Like I said, it's showbiz, baby.
Dude, but it's showbiz.
Yes, the comedy industry in general, man, it's always at the cutting edge of culture. You know, they're always at the boundary of like what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and they're always like towing the line.
Yeah.
And I think one thing that they're really grappling with nowadays is just like the cancel culture woke phenomenon.
Yeah, so
that, like to me doesn't exist because like Louis C.K. was canceled and he just sold out the Madison Square Garden. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they were saying like, are you canceled on Twitter? Like they were saying you have to be worried about cancellation when people don't go to your shows. But if you get canceled on Twitter, but you still sell out, it's like,
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
What is being canceled?
I aspire not to be canceled.
What is it?
I mean, I guess it's when people just stop going to your things or they just supporting you. Yeah. In a sense, it could hurt you financially, right? But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, that's one thing.
I think that even himself, like a perfect, example is Joe Rogan. People have stopped listening, and this is a fact. People have stopped listening to him to a certain extent because of the things that he said, because he makes people uncomfortable, and he moved to Austin to a very, very liberal place. So obviously he's going to get booed at. I think he was at Q2 and people were booing him. Yeah. I wasn't there, but I was
one of the ones, hey, you have to wait now.
Yeah. I mean, and, everyone has their,
I think as I'm getting like, I mean, this year I changed the way I think, and I am not turning one way or another, but I am starting to be a little open-minded because for me it's like the help that we really needed isn't there.
Yeah.
So it's one of those that okay, I'm what do you like? What does people have that like? I want to understand more why people think certain ways.
Right, and I think that's super healthy. In my opinion, I mean, that's what journalists
I want to be able to have conversations with someone that I may agree with, may not agree with.
Might not agree with. No, it's good. Diversity of thought is always good. I mean, it's always good. I love that. But when we were talking about cancel culture, I think after you reach a certain level of success and exposure,
you're gonna face it.
You can bounce. You can bounce back from anything.
Yeah.
I hope Greg Abbott gets canceled.
Yeah, that's the one that I wish she gets fired, canceled, and never able to. I hope,
and I hope Elon Musk doesn't buy Man United. I've heard rumors of that. That would,
and I hope he buys Man United.
That would break my heart.
Just so he can spend and then waste it.
That motherfucker.
Because my Liverpool is gonna kick your out every season.
That motherfucker can't even run Twitter without having a tantrum every meeting.
Hey man.
And he was complaining that his tweets were not as liked as Joe Biden's during the Super Bowl. And I think he fired some engineers over that or something.
Hey, man. But you know what? We got 30 likes in the last tweet, so progress.
Hey, we putting up numbers, y'all.
And we already got over 100 subs on YouTube, so
hey, shout out. Hey, that's a milestone.
Shout out. And we got a sponsor in beer también. So hey, we're making progress.
Oh my god!
We might get some other sponsors and drinks. I'm working on that.
You may get another co-host. Me? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, speaking of, before we leave,
talk about it.
We went. I know we had talked, and
Why do you have to get so serious? No, just kidding.
Nah. Well, because I have to watch how I say things, because sometimes I say it like,
just say it, Richie.
Just say it. And the thing's like, if I say it, they'll be like, cabrón.
You don't want to be insensitive.
But I mean, yeah, I had asked Michelle a while back. I've been having in her mind to join us, but she had work, and it's one of those that can, like say schedulings and whatnot.
Time is hard.
And then, reached out to her after, she went independent, and I was like, hey, you want to be part of Otra, por favor? So she's part of, the team. I don't know if it's going to be temporarily, it's going to be permanent, but she's part of the team now.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate this grand gesture.
Yeah.
And I just want English there. I'm just kidding. I tend to do that when I have a little bit too much beer.
Well, that's what we show that we want.
No, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, right now I'm trying to figure out what the next steps are. But yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to be here. We'll see where I land, or if I stay here and do my own thing. It is tough, doing everything yourself, and you need to live and pay bills eventually, all that, luckily I have money saved, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll stay here. Maybe I'll go somewhere else. I had a few talks with other clubs in the MLS, but we'll see. I'm still thinking about what my heart wants to do, what I want to do, if I want to do on air, if I want to take a pause, take a break, and work in communications, but take a step back.
Yeah, we were kind of touching on it earlier. Like we, as Latinos, we're so used to that hustle culture,
yes.
The working culture.
It's been so hard for
that
me.
Whenever you have a moment of pause, it can be a struggle to understand what to do, what it means, what value you can get from it, because you feel like you're not moving, because we're so used to moving.
Yeah.
So the moment you have that time, like, how do you feel right now?
It's like Joker. I go back to, so how he's like, I don't know what to do. Keith Ledger, he's like, I don't know what he does. I don't know what he has in his hand. He's
masterful performance.
Love that movie.
Yeah.
And I loved Heath Ledger. He was a great actor.
Saludos, Heath, donde estés.
Oh. Saluditos. But yeah, no, it's very hard. I'm not shy. No position is higher or lower than me. I could go clean houses. That's what my mom does. Yeah. I mean, I can do Uber. I can, be a waitress. I can take a job doing something completely different that isn't labor. I mean, I could be an editor. I could do this or that. But yeah, it's been super difficult having some days off, because I've been so used to, like, I have money coming in. We carry this burden that our parents came to this country to give us a better life, and we need to show out and, basically live our dreams for them. And it's been difficult. But the pressure you can only put yourself, and obviously I have such a support system when it comes to family and friends, and you guys too, keeping me busy. So it makes my transition easier while I look for the next thing. That's good.
I think when we started the podcast, the goal was to, bring a woman here. And, that now that we have it, it's like, it's good, because it helps on having different perspectives and understanding more, like different points of view in general. But then also, like, say, we don't have to be talking about football a lot of time. We can talk about something that Michelle brought into the table, and, hay que hablarlo.
Yeah, but also it's worth noting that Michelle's experience here in the city of Austin in journalism and sports is something that we value so much, and it's just we're lucky to have you, and you bringing your level of expertise and professionalism to the podcast is a huge add. So,
well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Austin Aztecs, that's where I started.
There we go. There we go.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I appreciate everyone that takes the time to listen to this episode or watch the episode. Everyone that that gave us come swing by and say hi. They want to be part of it. Like, when the season starts, it's going to be pretty cool to have people here as well.
Yeah, maybe
Shooting
I
this
can
shit.
bring someone. I mean, if I'm here full time, I'm gonna start reaching out. I got a new follower, by the way. I
Oh,
think,
with
yeah.
that blue check mark.
with the blue check mark. I hope he does have a blue check mark. But it's Christo Vela.
Okay.
Oh.
We
Hey.
have a Vela in the house.
Vela
have
in
Vela
the
in the house
house.
Obviously, he's 18, so it's not like that. But I was just welcoming him. Le di la bienvenida.
Yeah.
Bienvenido a Austin. I'm a huge fan. A lot of people don't know who Alejandro Vela is, besides, homeboy at
Su
LAFC.
hermano.
Yeah. Carlos
El,
Vela.
el innombrable.
I think this Hop Squad is getting to us.
No. Hey, I stutter even without Hop Squad. Like,
I'm just kidding. No, but he was a big part of Cruz Azul, Liga MX, Alejandro Vela. So if he was a great player. I actually took a picture with him a long time ago. But if you don't know who he is, you should definitely look him up. Look what he did with Cruz Azul. But yeah, I mean his son is here, which is obviously Carlos Vela's nephew, and so he followed me. So I'm excited to see him. I hear he's like really fast, a really fast player. He brings a lot to the table. So
todo el día viendo videos de su tío.
sí.
It's gonna be a good family reunion with the game against LAFC.
Imagínate los trancazos.
So this was at at the stadium here at UT. Cruz Azul, he's there wearing his Cruz Azul shirt. Back in the day,
Richie's
eye contact.
I burned my eyes. Hold on, let me do. Okay, better. Okay, good.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
Me la mandas and I'll share that picture.
So that was me and him a long time ago.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Because that's right. Ana Katy had posted her picture with Kiki Fonseca back in the day as well. Anyway, so I just am so excited because if we go back, I don't know, to when I guess I was 15 there, you would never think Austin would have a professional soccer team. Austin FC isn't perfect, but what they've done with the organization has brought players or sons of players here to the city, and I just would have never thought that we would have that high caliber of pool of bringing talent here to the city. There's so much talent that should be shown locally as well, but being a fan of someone, I was like, this is amazing. Like, this is awesome. My dad would freak. But anyways, so I kind of like, fangirled for a second.
Kind of like when I see Diego.
Yeah.
Cuauhtémoc. No, if I see Cuauhtémoc, me desmayo.
Oh, wow. Love
To
that.
this day.
To this day.
That's funny. Yeah, I think I would fangirl so hard on Alejandro Vela more than when I did with Sebastian Driussi. I don't think I even had a reaction. I was just like, oh, nice.
¿Qué pedo? ¿Qué estás?
Yeah. You're the, goal scorer
Some
for Austin
players
FC.
do that to us, right?
But I was just like, damn, this guy wore Cruz Azul.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. It's a pretty good thing, looking forward to what Christo Vela does.
Mm-hmm.
And another Mexican player. It's our second one now. So
Yeah.
that's good.
We were asking for
We're asking, now we got two. Yeah.
Now
I
we
know,
got two.
so happy. Even though he's on loan for, I think, one year.
1 year.
But we'll see. Hopefully,
Hey, maybe we can do whatever. We bring Alejandro Vela.
You never know.
You never know.
Take him out of retirement.
There we
I'm
go.
just kidding.
No, but I bring him here to talk with us. Let's shoot the shit.
I think that's where I was
Yeah.
supposed to go with that.
Yeah,
Maybe I
también.
could have him here.
Hey,
Let me try to work my
All right.
magic.
see, this is where the magic that we couldn't do, Michelle would do for us.
Yeah.
She'll carry the bag.
My charm.
Your charm. Porque si ven estos dos güeyes,
It's hard. It's hard to attract that
Obviously.
No.
players through our charm, but we try our best.
We try. Pero nada, se cuidan, se portan bien. Adiós y arriba el América y el Liverpool.
Bye. Ciao.